I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. A couple things before we get started. I would highly suggest that if you're in a position to take out a pen and paper to take notes, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to present you with a lot of information, but understand that this information is designed to educate you on how to use this new resource tool. And it is the Microbiome eBook. It is ready and it's available. I'll give you an easy link to remember to be able to access this at any time. It's in a PDF file that's now hosted up online. And again, it'll be easy for you to access this, and it'll be easy for you to send the URL to other people. So what you see in front of you is the cover for the Microbiome Research ebook, Empower Your Life Through Breakthrough Microbiome Research. And what I want to do today is I want to be able to go through this and scroll down on this and begin to help you understand the table of contents and the different elements that are part of this ebook, again, designed to help you do a couple different things. Understand that as I go through this ebook, the whole purpose of the ebook is to help you create interest. And as you create interest in people wanting more information about the microbiome, to be able to use this as a resource tool to send to them, to have a reason to follow up with them. And in that follow-up process, to begin to utilize the book, not necessarily having them to read the whole book or having to understand all the information, but from your part, understanding how to use the book to create the relationship and trust necessary that if they want to reset their gut health, you can use resources available in this book that will then support the ability to tie it into the Microbiome Purify Kit from Synergy Worldwide as our product of choice. So similar to what we do with Nitric Oxide Therapy is we have an ebook on Nitric Oxide Therapy designed to educate people on why Nitric Oxide Therapy is critically important to their cardiovascular health, and our product of choice is Prebiotic Plus. Again, what we'd want to do on the Microbiome eBook is, again, use this, that resetting your gut health is critically important to your overall health. And then our product of choice is the Microbiome Reset, how to reset your gut health, and then, again, using this as a tool. So let's go through this PDF. So the first chapter is why your microbiome is key to good health. And this first chapter is all designed to lay the groundwork and help people to understand how important their microbiome is to their overall health. And what we do right on the first page is we set a link to helping them understand that even their body composition of being lean or fat is tied to their microbiome. Because in today's world, weight management and weight management issues, both in wanting to control weight management or lose weight or effectively be able to keep weight off, or the health issues that come from being overweight and obese, we want to begin to link the microbiome and that whole process, because that's a huge marketplace for you to be able to tap into, to be able to gain customers and help them understand how it's not their genes or their lack of willpower that causes their issues and not being able to be compliant to a diet, but it's really their microbiome that is driving their eating habits, and that when you change that microbiome, you will change the desires that you have for foods, that the snack foods that you had a deep desire for and that you just can't seem to have control over, it's not because of your lack of self-will. It's because the microbiome in your gut is driving your food choices. And once you flip that, once you change the microbiome to healthy bacteria, you'll be able to have control over the food choices that you have, because your microbiome will lead you to other food choices that they want to eat, rather than the bad bacteria driving you towards food choices that they want you to eat. And so we set this up right in the first page. And as we go through this whole process, we want to help them understand that this ebook is designed to guide them through this discovery process. And that's the purpose of today's webinar. I'm recording it so that you'll be able to go back and access this recording at later dates and times, that as you bring distributors on board into your Synergy operation, you'll be able to go back and access both the ebook as well as this recording to help the people that you bring into your Synergy operation be able to understand how to effectively use this ebook. Plus, I'll most likely take today's presentation and as well as this PDF link and put this into our Synergy Family Business Plan, so it's also available in the resource section there. Now, what is the microbiome? We want people to understand what the microbiome is, and we want them to begin to understand that the basic difference between people is not in their genetic genes or their human genes and their genetic predispositions towards certain things. Really, what's the difference between two people is basically what happens in their microbiome, that they're 99.9% identical to each other, but they could be different by as much as 80 to 90% different in their microbiome, what's going on with their gut health. And it's that gut health that is either leading them to poor health, or it's helping them create metabolic components that are going to lead to good health. And we begin to introduce this word called dysbiosis, and you need to get that word into your vocabulary. Just like you needed to learn nitric oxide, maybe it's a little bit easier word to learn, but dysbiosis is a word that you need to begin to get into your vocabulary so that you can be able to create interest around dysbiosis. What's that? You've never heard of dysbiosis? Well, maybe you would understand it in terms of gut health, where your gut health is predominantly bad bacteria driving you to experience health issues, as opposed to good bacteria driving you to have good health, elite health. And when that's out of balance, we call it dysbiosis. So again, bringing certain things into your vocabulary, all designed to create interest for a person to want to get this ebook so that they can get better educated in this area. Now, the next section is called Preventing Dysbiosis by Purifying the Gut Biome. And one of the things that we want them to be able to understand is that antibiotics and medications, where people think that antibiotics and medications are helping them solve health issues, in reality, antibiotics and medications are actually creating dysbiosis in their abdominal cavity, which then allows them to become more susceptible to illnesses and problems. And one of the things that I've done in this ebook is, it's not my opinion, and it's not your opinion, but basically it is the opinion of the National Institute of Health. And so I picked up an excellent article called Antibiotics and Human Gut Microbiome, Dysbioses and Accumulation of Resistances. And this is not you and I having this position, but this is actual government studies showing how antibiotics and medications are causing a whole host of problems because of how it creates dysbiosis in the abdominal cavity. So again, we want third-party validation to what we're telling people, and here is the information summarized, as well as it provides a direct link to the article. The article is written in scientific terminology, and what we try to do in this PDF is take that and the points that they're making and putting it into terminology that every person can understand, as well as if you're talking to healthcare professionals, chiropractic physicians or other healthcare providers that are in the mainstream medicine but are interested in this type of information, you have information that's not your opinion, but actually scientific validated information from the federal government through studies that have been done, summarized, so that you can also speak to them in clear information that they can understand. Now, as we go down through this process, we also want to set up a dichotomy I think that would be the right word for it, that antibiotics and medications are causing dysbiosis, but if they look at this from a natural standpoint, how to choose foods that will naturally improve gut health, prebiotics and probiotics that will naturally improve gut health, what the result of that can do for people, how it can improve their overall health, so that we're setting up this process from looking at medication as the only answer to people's ills and problems to making good food choices and implementing prebiotics and probiotics into their lifestyle that will help them reset their gut health so that they can enjoy the positive benefits of improved health. As we continue to go down through this whole process, the key root to so many things are toxins. How toxins are the root cause of most diseases. Toxins cause inflammation. Inflammation results in disease. And again, what we want to do is we want people to help them understand that the bad bacteria, due to their eating habits and the lifestyle choices that they've made, either consciously or subconsciously, meaning that subconsciously, well, it's like medication, it's supposed to help me. No, medications don't necessarily do that. Use a medication only when you have to, as a last resort, as opposed to always going to that on the first thing. So again, we want to help them to understand how different items that they're doing through their diet, antibiotics and medications, for women, oral contraceptives, alcohol, obsession with cleanliness, diet low in fermented foods, stress, are all creating this dysbiosis leading to toxins, and toxins then go and produce a whole line of different health issues. You may see this slide. I got this picture from the slide presentation that was done in Europe when the Microbiome Purify Kit was released. I have some friends in Europe that were able to send me that presentation, and so I've taken some slide presentations out of it and added it in here. And again, it goes through a process that as toxins enter into the bloodstream, they cause inflammation, which leads to metabolic dysfunction, which leads to insulin resistance, which a lot of people are familiar with, which leads to fat deposition, which means that you're going to add fat to your frame, which then leads to cardiometabolic dysfunction, cardiovascular health issues. And they have a phrase that they use called fix the gut, fix the problem. And so if you want to begin to pick up some easy phrases for people to understand, hey, all you need to do to fix the problem is you need to fix your gut. Or if you fix your gut, you're going to fix your problem. However you want to take that phrase and frame it for yourself, again, you want to begin to get into your terminology as you go through this ebook. You won't be able to highlight it unless you print it off. So you could print this off, because in this ebook, you could certainly print this off to use it as a study guide to begin to educate yourself in this area, and then highlight phrases that you like, information that you think is important, because as you educate yourself in this area, one, you'll understand it better. Secondly, you'll better understand how to use the information in this ebook to speak directly to the needs of the person that you're talking to. That you don't have to have them read the whole ebook, but you can say, hey, go to page 8. You want to take care of your health problem? You need to fix the gut. And then back up to page 7 and look at that picture there, because that's what's happening in your body. Toxins are creating inflammation, which is then leading to all these different types of issues that you've got. I've got a question here in the chat box. All right, we're going to get there. So the question is, define what is a leaky gut? And we're going to answer that question. Just hang on for a second. Now, as we go through this, we come to what your question is. What does it mean to have a leaky gut? And so this is another thing that you need to get in your vocabulary. What is a leaky gut? So what is dysbiosis? What is inflammation? What is a leaky gut? If you remember those three things, that's going to become part of your 3 E's and 4 R's as a roadmap and game plan for helping people to reset their gut health. So this section of the ebook explains to you what a leaky gut is. I've got a great picture here taken from another site that I give full credit for, and your small intestine, the cells are designed to be tight junctions, which means that they're so tightly knit together that molecules and particles can't get through, that the only way that things can get into your bloodstream is by being digested and then absorbed through the cilia that are part of the small intestine to then begin to get into your bloodstream. However, inflammation, certain food choices create what's called a leaky gut, where those tight junctions have open spaces. And so they're no longer a tight junction, but there's an open space so full proteins can enter into your bloodstream as well as toxins. Now, toxins would create inflammation because your immune system would directly target those toxins. However, proteins, which are good for you when broken down properly, when they enter the bloodstream as a protein, your body sees it as a toxin or an invader or a pathogen, and immediately your immune system attacks those proteins to cause inflammation. So again, what we're trying to do is help people understand what's happening, that they have this leaky gut process. And in doing this, page 10 is a hugely important piece of this ebook that you can use with almost every person that you come in contact with. Because what it does on page 10 is it gives them a list of triggers and symptoms that you could have them do on their own, or you could go through it with them and say, hey, do you have any of these symptoms? Do you have any bloating issues? Any food allergies? Any food sensitivities? Do you get headaches? Do you have joint pain? Do you have low energy or fatigue? Do you have a thyroid condition? Do you have digestive issues? Have you had issues with weight gain? Mood issues? Do you have skin issues? So you could go and check those off with that person, and then you could look at triggers. Do you take in dietary proteins, especially from dairy and meat? Do you have infections? Do you use antibiotics? What's your sugar consumption like? Low stomach acid and enzymes. Do you have stress in your life? Are you pregnant? Are you going through menopause? Do you have toxins? Do you have a poor diet? Do you eat a lot of processed foods? Do you have a bacterial imbalance? Do you eat lectins? I don't know what the heck lectins are. Alcohol consumptions. So again, you can go through these triggers and again, mark off the triggers and the symptoms that that person is experiencing, because the more that is marked off, the greater the probability that they have some level of leaky gut. And so what we do is we help them understand how 3 triggers, we don't go through all the triggers, but how 3 triggers that most people consume, how they contribute to a leaky gut. So we do talk about lectins and how lectins, and we give them the 4 major foods that contain lectins that cause the greatest amount of inflammation in the vascular system: wheat, legumes, especially kidney beans, peanuts, and soy. Those 4 food groups have lectins that create the greatest amount of inflammation in the small intestine. And then as we go down through here, we talk about dairy protein and how a very simple switch to almond milk can solve that issue. And then we talk about sugar. And then we have a statement: the greater the dysbiosis of your abdominal cavity, the greater your potential for a leaky gut. So the more that their abdominal cavity is screwed up, the more that you're going to experience leaky gut, which means that you're going to experience more inflammation throughout your whole body, because you're getting stuff into your bloodstream that doesn't belong there, and your immune system is going to attack it, create inflammation. And because you have a leaky gut, that problem goes on all the time. Every time you eat a meal, something that doesn't belong in your bloodstream is going to get there, and your immune system is going to react to it, and you're going to have inflammation, and that inflammation is going to lead to disease. And the only thing that the medical community can help you with is they can help you solve the symptoms, but they're not addressing the underlying problem until you reset your gut health, and we'll teach you how to do that. Now, the next section is prebiotics and probiotics. So the next section is designed to begin to give people a roadmap for how they can begin to solve this leaky gut problem that they may or may not have. Again, the more triggers and symptoms that they mark off, the greater the probability that they have a leaky gut. And so they need prebiotics and probiotics. Now, you're introducing a new terminology for most people. Most people have never heard of prebiotics. A lot of people have heard about probiotics. That word probiotics has been in the language of our culture for a long period of time. Prebiotics have not. So probiotics are good bacteria. You want to recolonize with good bacteria. We give them some ways that they can do that naturally with foods, and then we begin to help them understand why prebiotics, you need so many of them, like 50,000 billion CFUs. You might want to get CFU into your language. CFU is a colony-forming unit, because you're going to be able to position information effectively to help them understand why the probiotic used in Synergy worldwide is so much more effective than the probiotics that are currently in the marketplace. We also help them understand that they need to take their probiotic with some form of food, because the food will protect the probiotic through the acidic environment of the stomach. That's one reason why you need so many CFUs on probiotics, because most of them are destroyed in the stomach and they don't make it to the small intestine. Plus, if they're taking it with foods, most of the foods that they're taking it with have sugars in it, which then end up feeding the bad bacteria. So we want them to take their probiotic with a prebiotic. What the heck is a prebiotic? Well, a prebiotic is a non-digestible carbohydrate to you, but can be digested by your probiotic. So basically what you're doing in a prebiotic is you're giving the probiotic the fuel source that it needs to be able to grow and colonize. The other thing that you're doing is the right type of prebiotic, because it's a soluble fiber, creates this gel-like substance that can then help protect the probiotic through the acidic environment of the stomach, which then gets more of your prebiotic into the small intestine, where it can now germinate and colonize, and you're giving it its food source. So once it gets into the small intestine, it can rapidly recolonize the small intestine, which again helps you to set up why the Biome Actives from Synergy Worldwide is such an important product component to helping them reset their gut health. Now we go on and we begin to, again, introduce what would be the two best in this category. The best prebiotic is inulin, and the best probiotic is Bacillus coagulans. And the Bacillus coagulans is important to understand why that is better than the other probiotics in the marketplace. The Bacillus coagulans is a spore-forming probiotic, which means that it's in a spore form, not a live culture. Live cultures going through the stomach get destroyed. Spores going through the stomach don't get destroyed, because the spore, the outer coating, protects it, and that way when it gets into the small intestine and the environment is right, that spore germinates and now can rapidly colonize. So you don't need as many CFUs, colony-forming units, with a spore-forming probiotic. Plus, a spore-forming probiotic is shelf-stable, whereas a probiotic that is common to the industry, you've got to refrigerate, which means that you can take your Bacillus coagulans any place that you go. You don't have to worry about whether they're refrigerated or not. They're shelf stable. They can get through the stomach acidity better. More CFUs hit the small intestine, and because it's combined with a prebiotic inulin, the inulin not only helps additional protection through the stomach, but provides the fuel source for the probiotic so that you can get rapid recolonization in the small intestine. Plus, inulin feeds the good bacteria, and the bad bacteria don't like inulin. So you're taking away a fuel source for the bad bacteria and giving a fuel source for the good bacteria. So again, you can flip this equation in a person's microbiome from bad bacteria to good bacteria. Now, as we go through here, we want to highlight other key ingredients. Now, the other key ingredients are ingredients that are hugely important, that if a person decides not to use Synergy's Purify Kit, they can still go out and begin to make some significant changes in their health. But the nice thing about the key ingredients that we highlight, they're all in Synergy's Purify Kit. And I didn't target these because they're in the kit. I targeted these because these are the ones that are the most important. These are the big 8. The 8 key ingredients that if you want to, from a natural standpoint, choose food sources that are going to help you improve your gut flora, these are the 8 that you want to concentrate on. The first one is pea protein. And one of the things that we do in this is we put pea protein up against whey protein. Whey protein is the common protein used in most protein shakes. Yes, I know that there's soy protein used in some. Again, go back to lectins. You don't want a person using soy because soy has lectins to it. So we show a direct comparison between pea protein and whey protein on 25 grams, which is basically what you're getting in 2 scoops from the Biome Shake from Synergy Worldwide. We look at the number of calories, the carbs, the protein. They're almost identical. Fat's a little higher in the pea protein. And here's, in my research of doing this, 2 things are important. One is pea protein is a complete protein and has the essential branched chain amino acids that athletes look for. So if you're dealing with an athlete who is using a whey protein, switching to a pea protein, when you begin to show him a side-by-side comparison, that athlete can say, okay, that makes sense. And then when you show him the next line, it's important to note that pea protein contains 3 times more L-arginine. So for 25 grams of pea protein, there's 1.5 grams of L-arginine, whereas in whey protein, there's about a half a gram. Now, from a nitric oxide standpoint, that's huge. From an athlete who's trying to use L-arginine in the gym to create nitric oxide to get better vasodilation for better vascularity and pump out of their exercise program, that is a key tool to them to help them understand why pea protein would be better to consume than whey protein to help them improve their circulation, vascular pump, all the things that they're looking for in the gym. Now, from a consumer standpoint, again, if you want to highlight nitric oxide therapy and help them understand how important that is to cardiovascular health, pea protein is an ingredient that will help them not only restore their gut health and address inflammation and other health issues like leaky gut, but also it's going to help them increase their nitric oxide levels for improved cardiovascular health. As we go through here, L-glutamine, that's the second most important ingredient, that if you want to treat leaky gut, you need to be making sure that that person is consuming L-glutamine, because L-glutamine is going to help restore the integrity of the environment of the small intestine. The cells that make up the small intestine, that's going to make a big difference. I got another chat here. Oh, okay. Yancy, do you have, I don't see anything. Okay. So anyways, L-glutamine is the next one. Magnesium. it's important for people to understand how magnesium is such a critical mineral, because one, it helps so many enzymatic processes in the gut to function properly, which means that you can address their immune system, their digestion, their regularity, their energy production. It also aids in all these other issues that can help. I've given you a bullet point list of all the things that magnesium can do for people. And magnesium is in the Body Prime. Now, I originally looked at Body Prime as just a product to help with purification and detox. I now look at Body Prime as a daily product that I want to consume because of the magnesium that's in Body Prime and how important magnesium is to the enzymatic processes that are controlled by the good bacteria of my gut, as well as how important it is to all other health issues that go on through the rest of my body. So I no longer look at Body Prime as something that I'm going to do temporarily. I now use Body Prime on a daily basis to begin to make sure that I'm getting enough magnesium in my diet to be able to fuel all these metabolic processes that are necessary for improved energy. And then we have the hardest word that you're most likely going to have to learn is oligosaccharides. I still have problems with it. Again, if you have problems with it, just point to it and tell them that's a prebiotic that you want to make sure that you get because it's like inulin. And then we've got, I think it's psyllium husk. And we go down through here and we have zinc and we have flax seed powder. I'm a firm believer in flax whole lignans, and flax seed powder does very similar things. It stimulates the body's ability to produce lignans. And the reason why lignans are so important is lignans actually target certain types of cancers: breast cancer, skin cancer, especially melanoma, and colon cancers. And again, what we've tried to do on every one of these is we give them links to additional information to support the information that we're telling people. Borage oil, again, is another important ingredient to help fight inflammation. So the next section of our ebook is how your microbiome addresses, and we're going to look at different health issues because we want to set it up so that we can move them into our 3 E's and 4 R's for gut health. This is the prescription for improving gut health. The greater the dysbiosis, the greater potential for disease. And so we talk about immune systems and how that there are 80 different types of immune systems, and basically an immune disease can be classified as a case of mistaken identity, which means that your immune system actually targets normal proteins, and it does that because they're in the wrong place. If you've got a leaky gut and that protein has gotten into your bloodstream, in your abdominal cavity, when it gets broken down, it provides you with useful building blocks to maintaining your health. But as a complete protein in your bloodstream, your immune system targets it and begins to create inflammation, and that's where most of these autoimmune diseases come from. So we want them to help understand that. And I found this information from Dr. Fasano, who has what he calls the 3-legged stool. And understand the purpose of the 3-legged stool. Again, page 20 is a very important page for you to understand how to properly apply this to the person that you're talking to, especially if they have any type of autoimmune disease. You know, you most likely have 3 legs working against you. Leg 1 is a genetic predisposition, meaning that certain genes, when triggered, will develop certain types of diseases. So it doesn't mean that they're going to have the disease unless that gene sequence is triggered. Leg 2 is the trigger, a trigger that your immune system sees as a threat. So an example of that would be gluten. For some people, gluten doesn't bother them at all. For other people, gluten is a trigger for either celiac disease or inflammation of the vascular system, or inflammation of the abdominal, of the small intestine. And then we've got leg 3, which is intestinal permeability, which is leaky gut. Now, what do? we give them 2 steps, 2 basic steps that if they have autoimmune diseases, that if they will just do these 2 basic steps, they can most likely see improvements in what's going on. The first step is to consume natural ingredients that heal and address leaky gut. What are those natural ingredients? Well, it goes back to the previous section. L-glutamine, pea protein, magnesium, flaxseed powder, and borage oil. Now, they can go out and buy those things separately, or again, you've now set up why they might want to use the Purify kit from Synergy Worldwide. The second step is to combine a prebiotic with a probiotic to quickly reset their microbiome so that they're now producing good bacteria that can overcolonize the bad bacteria, which then does 2 important things for them. Function 1 is it reduces the number of potential triggers. And if I reduce the number of potential triggers, then I can do function 2, which is reduce the potential to trigger a genetic predisposition. There is a very simple application of the information that you find in this ebook for a person who has an autoimmune disease. And there's a lot of people out there that have this, that if they just implement these 2 steps, they can see a significant improvement. And if they don't want to go out and buy a separate prebiotic and a separate probiotic and all these other separate things, again, they can use the Microbiome Reset or Purify kit from Synergy Worldwide to do the same thing and help them in this process. And again, we provide links to articles, scientific information that supports the information that we're telling people. We talk about abdominal distress. And in abdominal distress, it's driven by stress. So again, what is their stress level? If you go back to that page 10, triggers and symptoms, and they've marked off that they're under a great deal of stress, most likely that's why they have abdominal issues. Again, you can begin to tie this back to things that they've indicated that you use. Page 10, now page 20, again, to be able to help people understand, okay, you've got distress, you most likely are experiencing some abdominal distress. Is that true? Yeah, I am. Okay, let's look at page 22 and help you understand this whole process of what's happening. You've got to learn to get rid of some of this stress in your life. You know, that could be, again, other things that they're doing from meditation, biofeedback, whatever it might be, besides just resetting their microbiome. We tied inflammation and cancer together. They are linked. Inflammation leads to cancer. So inflammation causes a genetic predisposition for a person to maybe experience cancer issues. Or inflammation is causing the immune system to attack things that are beneficial to it so that cancer cells that are not beneficial get ignored and are allowed to then colonize and create a problem because the immune system has been distracted or overwhelmed with other things that are happening through your leaky gut or that person's leaky gut that doesn't allow your immune system to attack the precancer cells like it's designed to do because it's wasting its time attacking proteins through your leaky gut or toxins that have invaded your system because of the dysbiosis of your abdominal cavity. Again, we have a great article from PubMed, Microbiome, Inflammation, and Cancer. And we've summarized their points here of what that leads to. So again, we can support the statements that we're making to people, not our opinion, but this is science showing us what's happening. And that if you want to lower your potential for cancer, then you need to address your microbiome, your gut health, and begin the process of resetting that. We talk about diabetes. There's 2 types of diabetes. Type 1 is where that person's immune system, which is an autoimmune disease. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease because the immune system has attacked the cells that produce insulin. Type 2 is a metabolic syndrome issue. And so that's a different type of issue. But again, when you reset the microbiome, you address both of these different types of issues. We get into weight management and obesity. Page 24 will be a major section of this ebook that you will want to use, because if you just go outside at any public place and look at people, you will see that 2/3 of the people that you see are either overweight or obese. And they are dealing with health issues, either known or unknown to them, that have not yet manifested in their life. There's a huge opportunity here. And so often people who are overweight or obese, it's my genes. Everyone blames it on my human genes for what their problems are. Well, that's not the case on page 24 and page 25. We help people understand that it's not your genes that are causing this problem, it's your microbiome that's causing this problem. So this is the famous twin study. And this is not just one set of twins, this is multiple sets of twins. When one twin is obese and the other twin is lean, they both have the same genetic makeup. But what they don't have is they don't have the same microbiome. That when the microbiome of the obese twin is put into a recipient mice, or mouse in this case, one mouse, multiple mice, and when the microbiome of the lean twin is put into host mice, and they're both given the same diet, the host mice with the microbiome from the overweight obese twin increases in body weight and body fat, whereas the microbiome that's been inserted into the host mice of the lean twins microbiome has been inserted into to those mice, they stay lean. Same diet, but the difference in terms of how the body reacts to it. And I still don't have these two words down properly. For mitcutes, I think it is, for mitcutes and bacteroidetes. In researching this area, what comes across almost in every study that I've seen is that for those people who are overweight and obese, they are dominated by firmicutes, whereas people who are lean are dominated by bacteroidetes. And again, I don't yet have those two words down completely in terms of proper enunciation. So I still didn't get a chance to go onto YouTube, because one of the things that you can do on YouTube, if you don't know how to say a word, you can go on YouTube, you can put that into the search bar, and you can actually have a person on YouTube tell you how to say it properly. So this here helps people to understand that it's their microbiome that's causing these things, and that there are certain things that you can do to flip that equation to be able to help them. So we begin to go through this process of the triggers that cause the firmicites, anyways, the ones that cause you to be overweight, that bacteria, what are the triggers for that? Because those triggers begin to help a person understand, when we go into the next section, how to begin to get a handle on their microbiome. As we go down through here, we get into the 3 E's and the 4 R's for gut health. You need to learn the 3 E's and the 4 R's. The 3 E's, you need to eliminate dysbiosis, you need to eliminate leaky gut, you need to eliminate inflammation. And how do you do that? You do it with the 3 R's. Remove foods and factors that damage your gut, replace with healing foods, repair with specific supplements, rebalance with prebiotics and probiotics. Remove, replace, repair, rebalance. And then what we do is we begin to give them the formula for doing this. Remove foods and factors that damage your gut. Fix the gut, fix the problem. And so we give them 10 recommendations. And again, if you're sitting down with a person, helping them understand how to apply this information, what you're doing is you're using this as a tool to build trust and lead a person through this process. So we've got 10 items here. Now, a person might not want to make that commitment to remove wheat from their diet. So again, go through this process of saying, okay, of these 10 things, which do you feel that you can do in the next week? Let's circle them. Let's identify them and begin to help you understand how we can begin to start the process of changing this. Then we get into the next section. Well, if I remove something, what do I replace it with? So we give them, again, suggestions. And in this process of suggestions, we again want them to choose, at least two items that they're going to do. For most people, to switch out from milk and dairy products to almond milk is a fairly easy thing for them to do. There's not much of a taste difference between the two. Getting more vegetable protein, especially pea powder protein, into their diet. Or this thing here, omega-3 fats. So many people are using vegetable oils in their cooking, or they're eating processed foods that have vegetable oils. Vegetable oils, omega-6 fats, create inflammation. So if you switch those vegetable oils from a cooking standpoint to virgin olive oil and coconut oil and other things, you can make a huge difference immediately in the amount of inflammation that's in the gut. We go down and we give them, okay, we want to repair with specific supplements. We give them 4 specific supplements. These are the 4 key: L-glutamine, magnesium, zinc, borage oil. You can go out and buy those 4, or you can use them in the Purified kit from Synergy Worldwide, because they're all built into the kit. And then we want to rebalance with prebiotics and probiotics. What are the ones that we recommend? Inulin, Bacillus coagulans. You can go out and buy them separately, or you can get them all in Biome Actives. And then once we go there, then we go into the Million Lives Project. Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because we're involved in the Million Lives Project, helping 1 million people or more understand how they could effectively reset their microbiome to significantly improve their gut health. Fix the gut, fix the problem. And then we get into our product of choice. And we have a statement. We have chosen the Microbiome Purified Kit from Synergy Worldwide as our product of choice. It is a patented program backed with clinical studies designed to reset your gut microbiome in 7 days. Would you like to do that? Then this is the program that you should use, and this is the program that we believe in because it's the best one in the marketplace. And then we go through each of the 5 products. The Biome Shake, we highlight. Again, these are slides taken from the presentation done in Europe. And then I just have some additional text to support the information that they see in the slides. We have the Biome DT. And again, we highlight the importance of it, especially the Biome DT having L-glutamine. We highlight Biome Actives, and how the Biome Actives uses a prebiotic and a probiotic, the ones that we're recommending, inulin and Bacillus coagulans. We have Body Prime, and again, there's only 3 ingredients in Body Prime: magnesium, apple pectin, and prune powder. And again, we talk about how they work together, and as I've already shared with you, I'll continue to use Body Prime. I no longer see Body Prime as a cleanser and bowel motility. I see Body Prime as an ingredient that helps me maintain the health and integrity of my small intestine to protect me from leaky gut. And then we have the last product, Prebiotic Plus. And the only video that I have in here in this whole presentation is I've taken our Prebiotic Plus Advantage video on Prebiotic Plus and inserted in here so that people can understand why Prebiotic Plus is the best of all the nitric oxide supplements in the marketplace. And then the last section is the About Me, and I have a generic version of this, and that generic version you can all find at oursynergyfamily.com/microbiome. So if you just remember that we're all part of our Synergy family, and if you want to get to the microbiome, after the .com, put a / in microbiome, and if you click there, that's going to take you to a website page that hosts this PDF, and that if there's any changes to the PDF, we'll then put those changes up onto this page. So this page will always contain the most current version of this ebook on the microbiome. So I've given you a lot of information for this morning. Understand that this tool is designed to create interest so that you can establish a relationship with the individual, and in that relationship, help them understand how to properly use this tool to build relationship and trust, to also then tie the material that you have in this ebook to a clinically studied, clinically proven solution to their dysbiosis, helping them to reset their gut health in 7 days or less by using Synergy Worldwide's Microbiome Purify Kit. So do I have any questions from anyone? I went a little bit long today, but again, there's a lot of information that I shared with you. Let me go, and so if you want to, you should be able to unmute yourself. Let's see, I've got someone in the chat box here. Okay, thanks, Yancy. Yes, Timothy.
Timothy here. I don't have a question, I got a compliment. What you did this morning is really fantastic.
Thank you, Timothy.
And the book looks extremely workable and doable. Thank you too.
You're welcome. And we tried to design an ebook that is professional in design and look, attractive on the first page, and will speak to both the layperson, because as you read through it, you can understand it. It's a story that moves from one section to the next section to the next section, as well as if you're putting this in front of a health professional, that they can understand it, that they can nod their head that, yes, I understand that, yes, I understand that, and that there are links to scientific studies, as well as other information to support everything that we've stated in this ebook. That it's not just our opinion. Our opinion is Microbiome Purify Kit from Synergy Worldwide. We believe this is the best of all the ones. Now, when the research is released, I may add to this book the research that Dr. Matthew Tripp has to, again, support why this is the best that's out there. But I don't have access to that. But at this point in time, the only opinion that we have in this book is our product of choice. Everything else that we put here is backed by science in a way that people can understand, as well as in a way that health professionals will agree on. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, hey Dan, it's Homer. Just so I'm clear, for the generic, we can go to this oursynergyfamily.com/microbiome. Can we download it from there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. And also, the other ebook for the nitric oxide, can we also, is there a place to do that? Just do the nitric oxide?
Yes. So I didn't put up here. Let me type it up here. It's pretty simple. It's oursynergyfamily.com/NO therapy.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then I also want to say that this whole presentation is just like a mic drop walk off. That was just awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So yes, I have up online the generic ebook for nitric oxide therapy. So that would be, again, oursynergyfamily.com/NO therapy. And then I have the ebook, oursynergyfamily.com/microbiome. And I'm just going to test this to make sure I gave you the right URL for the nitric oxide therapy ebook. But yes, so those are up there. They're the generic versions, and you have access to them, and you can send the URL link to people, or you can download them to your computer, save them in a file on your computer, and then you can attach the file, a PDF file, to an email that you might send to a person. Any other questions?
Dan, this is Judy.
Yes, Judy.
So thank you so much for taking all the information and putting it together so readable. And as a suggestion, when we're sending this book to our potential clients, what I would do is actually reference the conversation and point them to a specific page in the book, or pages. Specifically, during our discussion, you mentioned that you wanted to know what caused it. So, caused dysfunction in our microbiome. So just go to page 10 and read that section, and that'll help you understand. So, and then when you follow up, you kind of know what to ask about when you're following up too.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, Judy. It's the same thing that we've encouraged people to do with the Nitric Oxide Therapy ebook. So, Homer, the URL that I showed you is the correct URL to go to this. And what I do, again, Judy, is I usually say something, you may not have time to read the whole ebook, but because you have high blood pressure, my suggestion is that you go to page number 11. Let me get to the right page here. Go to page number 11 and click on, sorry about this, there we go, and click on the video for high blood pressure and make sure you watch that video, because you'll understand how nitric oxide therapy can naturally address your high blood pressure. So yes, exactly what you've encouraged people to do on the microbiome is, again, as you go through your ebook on the microbiome, again, one suggestion I would have is to print it off. Don't worry on your print copy. You can't link to anything. But on the print copy, you can read through. You can take a marker and you can mark things that are important to you or people that you might know that have issues in this area. And then you can begin to identify that. Say, whether you've talked to that person or whether you know that person, you can say, like Judy, I'll use Judy for example. Judy, I just came across this fantastic ebook on how to reset your gut health. It's called Microbiome Research. And I know in the past you've shared with me that you have a lot of abdominal distress issues. I would go to page number 10 and go through the checklist, symptoms and triggers, because you might be experiencing a leaky gut. And this book will help you understand, this ebook will help you understand how to address that. In fact, if you would like some help in this area, I'd be more happy to show you how you can use parts of this book to learn the 3 E's and the 4 R's to be able to address that potential issue that you might have of a leaky gut. And that would help you with some of your abdominal distress. So again, as you go through this, like any process, the more you know you're sourcing the tool, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to identify within that tool the section that will help address the need of the person you're talking to establish that relationship, to build the trust, to give them a roadmap that if they're truly serious about addressing that issue in their life, we've got a roadmap that you can follow. And if you don't want to do this on a piecemeal basis, we actually have a clinically proven system to help you reset your gut flora in 7 days. Did I capture the essence of what you're telling us to do, Judy?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any questions or comments before we say goodbye?
This is Tracy.
Yes, Tracy.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the ballpark. So easy, so much information that is put out easily to share with people. I love it. And again, I love the body prime. I have seen so many changes in my body because of that. I will always take that stuff. Love it.
Yeah, this product goes beyond just bowel motility and cleansing. Like I said, my thinking on this product changed after doing my research. And And next Saturday, again, we had a good group of people on this call today. Make sure that you're on this call and you get as many of your team members on next Saturday's call, because next Saturday I'm going to do the Microbiome Research live webinar that will become part of our Tuesday night operation, the first and third Tuesdays of every month. We're going to launch the first live one on April 18th, which is the third Tuesday of April. And then starting May, the first Tuesday, and the third Tuesday will be the live Microbiome Research webinar. We're going to preview it next Saturday so you can see what's actually done. That's going to become another major tool for you, because one of the things that I know that they're going to talk about at the Synergy Function on May 12th and 13th is how women, because women don't take this the wrong way, but women use groupthink and men don't for the most part. So for women, they like to do things together. And you can organize these microbiome parties. And one of the things I'm going to suggest from a marketing strategy is that, and I'm not going to do it next week, but I'm going to begin to introduce it next week by showing you how, if you plan on Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, adjust your time, invite people 15 minutes prior to that to get them into your home to run a microbiome reset party to help people, women especially, to address their gut issues. You can then have them come 15 minutes prior, do the welcoming things, then plug into the actual live webinar so that you have someone doing the actual presentation for you. You can put it up on your big screen if you know how to do that on your computer, or you can put it on your laptop computer. And then we'll have it open to Q&A from people across whoever's plugging in, that their audience can ask questions. We can give them answers. People can share their experiences of what's happened to them on resetting it. And then we can close that call off, and then you can then, okay, I've got 5 kits. How many women, how many people here want to join me in the next program, in the next reset? And now you can scale that. And again, we'll have a specific Saturday presentation to show you how you can use that, scale it, as well as that webinar will be recorded, so that if you can't do programs at Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on the first and third Tuesdays of every month, that doesn't work for your schedule or the community that you're in, then you can use the recording to accomplish the same thing. Again, this is a whole marketing strategy that we're going to introduce you to, but we're putting the pieces in place for you. Today we gave you the ebook. Next Saturday we're going to show you the live webinar and what that live webinar is going to look like. And then the following Saturday, Jean LaValle is going to be taking and having people share their experience of what happened to them on the Microbiome Purify Kit. And then in May, we'll pull together a marketing strategy to show you how to harness all these things together. Anyone else with any questions before we say goodbye?
A very good morning, Dan. It's Donald.
Hey, Donald.
It's not a question, but a comment, and not to belabor the point that others made about what an awesome presentation this was, but I purchased my kit, and this is what I was waiting for, because I'm such a novice to all this stuff that I didn't know technically where to start. And now with this, you've given me the roadmap to start using my kit, and naturally give a testimony to how it has what it has done for me. Let's put it that way. So again, I thank you.
You're welcome, Donald. I'm glad it's helpful to you, and I believe that as you read through it, whether you print it off or leave it online, again, especially if you print it off, one of the things that I find, and this is just for me personally, that when I read something, I like to underline the things that are important, because then when I go back, I don't have to read everything. I just need to read the underlined stuff, the highlighted. I use a yellow highlighter because those are the important things that spoke to me. And again, it helps you to solidify this information in your mind as you go through this and begin to connect the dots. That's what we want this book to do, is help you connect the dots to be more effective in helping people to achieve an outcome. Because here's the difference between nitric oxide therapy and microbiome research to reset gut health. In nitric oxide therapy, a person who applies that will feel the difference, but the outside public will most likely not see the difference. In microbiome research to reset the gut health, that person will both experience the difference as well as people around them will see the difference. Because as people lose inches around their waistline, lose pounds, begin to see better skin quality, and be able to have a greater energy and vibrancy about them, people will take notice and will want to know what they're doing. And that, when you understand how to properly harness the external changes that people go through, that people can see, you can, if you learn how to harness that, you can create both additional customers through client referrals, as well as you can create new distributors who experienced it, have a group of people saying, what are you doing? Would you like to learn how to bring this into our Synergy family to bless lives with better health and at the same time build a vibrant network marketing business? Is that of interest to you? Yeah. You mean I can make money? Yes. And you can bless lives with better health at the same time. How do I do it? Just do exactly the same thing I did with you. And we have all the tools and resources set up for you. And I'll help you understand how to apply them. Well, I can do that. And so, again, it's all designed to be able to help you effectively grow your Synergy business, both in acquiring customers to create cash flow and attracting business builders to create residual income. Any final questions or thoughts before we say goodbye?
I'd just like to add, Dan, yes, I'm going to print mine and print it in color because it deserves to be printed in color.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Any final comments before we say goodbye?
Dan, this is Tammy.
Yes, Tammy.
I really enjoyed how you laid out all this information for us. I mean, because when I was reading it a couple days ago, it was just amazing how much time and effort you put into creating this ebook for all of us. And I like how you started off with how you talked about the ingredients and how important it is to incorporate into your life, and just education, and it doesn't come across as salesy, if you will. And then at the end, it's like, well, all these ingredients that I just spoke of are all in these products, and this is our product of choice, and it just lays it out beautifully, and thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. Anyone else before we say goodbye? All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. Again, encourage you to get as many people on the call for next week. I got one more chat thing here. Okay. Thanks, Yancy. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, Bob.